Welcome to another Keelhauled podcast. I'm your host, Captain Logan, and we've got a lot of Sea of Thieves news to cover today. So tie yourselves to the mast and hold fast. Ahoy there, pirates. I hope you had yourselves a good week and a good weekend. Happy Mother's Day to everyone out there who is celebrating, whether you have kids, fur babies, or a pillow that you really cherish. You know, I'm not going to judge. I'm not going to be that person. But we have enough to get into, pirates. We're going to be talking about the upcoming announcement for the last ship standing for Act 3 of Season 19, as well as what we found out over on the Insiders as the devs broke down some structure to what's actually going to be going on with Season 20's Plunder Pass, as well as a visit from some creators over at the Rush Studios. All that and more in this week's episode of Keelhauled Podcast. But before we get into any of that, I have to thank the patrons. They're the ones that went over to patreon.com/Keelhauled Podcast to support this content and get these episodes. I appreciate it. The Podbean build just went through, so you guys helped take care of that. So very much appreciated. And as always, I like to call out the names. So shout out to A-Chick, L-Cute, Captain Nooch, not Luch. Captain Nooch, Balls, Blue Turtle V1, Captain Chonky, Chateau Noof, Super Pack, Zombie Killer, Cosmic Johnson, Static Mirror, Crazy Frog, Davram TV, El Jefe Esteban, Godhammer 6, Jeff H, Carl Embo of Embo Family Gaming, Elvin Vramir, Evil Morpheus, Space Admiral Ors, Xbox Mike 29, Rabid Raccoon, Blue Crab, Real Big Tuna, Reap's Revenge, Registella the Brony Pirate, Ribloid, Rustbelt Kid, Shoe Daddy 13, Scamel 666, Tales of the Sea, The Demon Jester, Tommy D, TN Professor, Wild Hog Murph, Big Bad Pad, Mina Fairy, Hegger Owl, Captain Duckweed, Evil Martha, Peter Miller, Rooski Doo, Thor Von Blitz, Luke Lord the Insipid Ghost, and Zam Wow. Thank you all so much for your love, for your support, and everyone that is heading out or coming in. I appreciate it. Definitely let me know if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns. I'm trying to keep an eye on who's active till when to make sure that you still get credit for all of your call outs and stuff. With that, pirates, let's get into it. First on today's docket, let's do a quick reminder. If you guys don't know, Sea of Thieves Fest 2026 is just around the corner. That is over at the Bescott Stadium in England. So if you guys are in the area or wanted to go out and visit other Sea of Thieves content creators, as well as just gamers in general, that's going to be happening over at over during July 10th and the 11th. I will not be there this year. I am still recovering from my move, so I'm hoping that next year will be a little bit more likely. I've already got plans in place with a buddy of mine, because there's a Star Wars festival that goes on every year, and we've always talked about going together because we're big Star Wars fans. But it's never been one of those things that we've actually like set to do. And he told me that if I don't do it for 2027, he's going to disown me as a friend. So I kind of have to do that. But for Sea of Thieves Fest, it is a lot of fun. It is great to go and meet a bunch of different people. The content creators out there are always really, really kind and fun to hang out with. So it's always nice to kind of like spend time to get to know them. And just generally, the cosplay contest, the panels are always really fun. It's always really cool to kind of have that experience, you know, that camaraderie between people. We used to have Festa Legends. Unfortunately, Festa Legends is just not feasible for what it was requiring. And at this point, they've kind of stopped it for the time being, which I don't blame them, because it is expensive. It does take a lot of money to actually get kind of those things running. I still don't know how SoT Fest manages it, but I do know that the tickets for that are running low. So if you guys had any questions, or if you guys had any interest in it, just feel free to reach out into the Discord. We can always talk about like how you can get tickets, or if you guys want any advice as far as like actually being over there or what to do. I've been there a couple times. It's been really fun each time. Next on today's docket, let's dive into what is actually going to be coming out this month. We're going to be diving into Act 3. That means we've got about 6 weeks left in the season. So Act 3 is going to be Last Ship Standing for Sea of Thieves. This is going to be the first entry into Sea of Thieves' kind of new PvP mode that they're going to be bringing back on a monthly cadence. And this is effectively going to be sloops. So solo sloops and duo sloop crews. If you are looking to get out there and have this kind of like free for all with 6 different ships, then you're going to be able to jump in there. You're going to have that ability to try and win top prize. The nice thing about this is that you are going to earn allegiance for this. Even if you lose, you're still going to be able to earn some allegiance. So if you're like myself and still working towards some of those curses, like I am for my ghost curse, the Last Ship Standing is going to offer you another avenue as opposed to a 1v1 duel, kind of like a ship versus ship. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this turns out. I'm not sure how much I'm going to play. I'm going to be playing some of it for sure. But I am very curious to kind of see like how this plays, because this harkens back to what a lot of us had originally with the actual arena. And the arena was good. It had some failings. I don't think it was a perfect mode, but it definitely had a lot of fun. I think a lot of folks enjoyed kind of the aspect of it. I'm still really bummed that they canceled it in some areas. Like they really kind of shore down how the gameplay mode works, which was unfortunate because I think that they didn't ever really do enough with it. I think that they very easily could have expanded it to different game type modes and given it some time as opposed to shutting it down. But at the same time, there was a whole other studio that was helping actually with the production of Arena. So that can get very costly after a certain amount of time. So I can understand like they wanted to make sure that that they weren't like just bleeding out cash for a mode that wasn't being engaged with nearly enough. And they've talked about this in the past. We don't have to rehash it all, but Last Ship Standing is really interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing how people actually like it, if they do like it, because the little tests that they've done here and there have been positive. They've done a pretty good job with like how those have gone. I don't think I've really seen too many issues. There have been issues. There's most definitely been bugs, but I don't think it's been terrible so far because it seems like they've been working pretty hard on this. So if you guys have any questions about that, I would say wait till the 14th. That's when it goes live. It goes on live next Thursday. And we're going to find out real quick, like what's working, what's not working. But it is just sloops. It will kick off on the 14th. And you're going to be able to work on some of the deeds for this. So I went ahead and jumped into insiders. Actually, I guess I didn't really need to get into insiders. I was more so doing that just for the sake of logging in. But we're going to go over some of the deeds for what is required for this act, because this again is a time limited act. And this is effectively going to be the last act in a season that we see for the foreseeable future at this point. Rare's kind of said that they're killing the act structure with seasons. So this will be the last act before they decide to bring it back in some future iteration like they always do. But looking at Act 3, if you go into the seasonal section on your game, you can go to the deeds and rewards. And then in Act 3 for Last Ship Standing, we have 2 different faction sets to collect. One for Flameheart and then one for Athena, effectively. So Reapers have one, Athena has one, and you'll be able to kind of like do fight for each faction essentially. So while representing the Guardians of Fortune, you have to place in the top 3 of Last Ship Standing to be able to get the Battle Scarred Flag. If you are the last ship to actually win, then you will actually get the sails for the Champion of Fortune, or the Athena's Fortune, the Guardians team. And then while representing Guardians of Fortune, if you sell an emissary flag claimed during a faction battle, that's how you're going to be able to get the hull itself. So It's going to be the same as far as the Guardians or the Champions of the Flame. You have to place in the top 3 to be able to get the flag. You have to win to be able to get the sales. And you have to be able to sell an emissary flag that you collected during a faction battle to be able to get the hull. Now, the nice thing about this compared to the Build Rat Weekender is that you have the rest of the season to get this done. So it's not just one weekend or a week that you have to worry about jumping in to do this. You have effectively the rest of the season of season 19 to be able to get this done. So it's nice in a sense that there are going to be downtimes. There are going to be less busy times. There's going to be busier times where people are going to be playing at different hours. The skill gap is going to fluctuate. So if you feel like you're not that great at PvP, maybe you talk to some folks, check and see if there's any openings, and then try and grab someone on a duo sloop to jump in and see if you can get your wins. Because you really only need 2 last ship standing wins. And how you go about this is going to be completely different. Because some people are going to go and try and actually be the aggressive person in or be the aggressive ship in the actual seas. You can totally play it safe. You could skirt around. You could try and double team another crew and try and pick it off. I would not be surprised if there are people out there who are trying to like orchestrate wins so that they can try and get this done without having to be terribly bothered with the PvP aspect of this. So I imagine that we will most likely see quite a few people of different skill types jumping into this. We don't necessarily know if the matchmaking system is going to be built into this last ship standing. I haven't really seen anything that really kind of indicates that it will be. But for all intents and purposes, you should be able to get top 3 or win sometime over the next month. It's going to take a little focus, but I believe in you to be able to get this done. If not, I'm sure you could probably reach out to the Discord server. We have the Champions of Fortune in the actual Discord, and that has always been very, very popular. It's been nice to kind of have folks constantly every weekend. Actually, the Keelhauled Champions training always has people jumping in to try and continue working on their curses. It is welcome to anyone. We just ask that you abide by the rules of the actual Discord, which are all listed out, and that you effectively treat people with some respect and some understanding. Like, you're not going to win. It's not a guaranteed carry, but they are going to help, and they're willing to help. So if you're willing to actually like spend some time, take some hubris, have a little hubris, if you're learning or if you're not sure, always good to kind of like go into it with an understanding that you are going to want to work with people that you may not have worked with in the past. So just go into it with a grain of salt, take care of yourself, be kind, be generous about how you feel about things and stuff. And that way you can actually have some fun, hopefully get some wins. But shout out to Rainbow Sam for always kicking up the Keelhauled Champions in the training that they do. They always tend to flip it. So one weekend it'll always be Guardians of Fortune, and then the next weekend will be Servants of Flame, and then it'll flip-flop between the two. So if you're working on one for a particular curse, you just have to wait a week and you can jump back into it. So shout out to them for always doing that. As far as the actual cosmetics go for this event, I'm happy with what they've done. You're doing stuff to get rewards, and I think that is a good system. I think that was something that I really appreciated about what the original Build Rats were back in the day. The Build Rats were a group of like, hey, we're tossing together something that's interesting, and we want to make sure that you have an incentive to actually do it, right? And the cosmetics came as a result of doubloons. And when you got done with like completing those different commendations, you were actually going to be able to buy with the currency that you earned those new cosmetics. It's a crazy idea. I know it seemed to work for me, but I'm glad that these are coming in and that they're doing a full ship set. It's really nice. I think it's on point. They're actually like speaking to the actual like people that want this. What I would like to say is that if they plan to do this for last ship standing, that they try and take into account maybe like, you know, if they're going to do this, open it up to the scarred other cosmetics, because right now we're working towards the actual ship cosmetics. It'd be nice if they did weapons. It'd be nice if they did clothing, things like that, to try and like give us more reasons. The only trouble that I really have with that is, again, when it comes down to the whole like time limited aspect to it, it is kind of a shame when you miss a weekend or what have you. And that's the other thing too, is this is going on for an entire like month effectively. This is the last month of the season. We don't know how long the future last ship standings are going to be, but if it's only a week, then that's going to be tough, because you're effectively going to be restricting any kind of rewards to just that period of time, which is not going to be good for everyone. And it kind of sucks when you're trying to collect a specific set, especially say if you are a huge fan of this specific set, then it's going to be kind of a bummer when you want to get all of it, but you know, you're not available every weekend that this is going to happen, or every week that this is going to happen, and you end up missing out on it. And it's always a shame. I'm never a fan of that. You know, obviously you can't collect everything. Or maybe you can, and you work really, really hard and you're going to do it regardless. But for a lot of people, it's not feasible. And hopefully that's something that gets taken into account when they bring this back, however they decide to bring it back. Personally, if you ask me, I think last ship standing should be something that's just a permanent mode. I also think that it's something that they could do for a month the way they're doing it now, if they want to offer rewards to give players a fair opportunity to continue trying to get these. I think that'd be good, but personal opinions. Overall, I like the fact that they're giving 3 rewards. I think they're giving 3 rewards for each of the 2 factions, and you have to represent each one to be able to do it. I think that's great. I think they're doing a good job with that. Outside of that, there's really not too much else going on in Sea of Thieves. We genuinely have not really had a whole lot. If you guys noticed last week, I took the week off. I'm actually still working on the reviews that I have on the docket for the expansion pass, as we are quickly moving closer and closer towards the what's it called? Summer Games Fest. Summer Games Fest is coming up, which is going to have the Xbox Showcase, and the Xbox Showcase is just going to have what we already know, which is going to be the custom Cs. So for all intents and purposes, or actually, no, I don't know why I said that, but it's just filler. It's a filler. Happens. But this is pretty much it for Sea of Thieves as far as what's going on in the game. There's a lot of discourse on the Twitterverse and like social media. Really can't be bothered with that stuff. I genuinely think a lot of people have too much time on their hands when it comes to picking fights with other people on Sea of Thieves over social media. If you guys have an issue with something, genuinely, like if you don't like it, there's only so much you're going to be able to do. You can voice your opinion, you can share your concerns, but going after someone, attacking someone personally for stuff that they choose to do, I mean, is that really going to be the best use of your time? I'll say that. If it's not, then maybe, you know, think of where you can be productive and positive in life, and leave the decision making to the people that make those decisions if you don't have control over it. I have always lived by the rule: you can only control what you can, and focus on controlling that. And then that way you don't have to worry about stuff that is not in your control, because you can't control it. I wish I could control the weather, because I'd like it to be a little bit warmer, but I can't. So I can control what I can do, and I can bump up my heater a couple more degrees so that people here wonder why my apartment is so warm. And I have to tell them I grew up in Arizona. That usually helps. They actually understand that. They're like, oh yeah, okay. So you're like thin-blooded, like some sort of lizard. Like, yes, actually, which is way more accurate than it really ought to be. But looking at that, there is going to be a cosmetic update. There are going to be updates to the stores. We are not yet at the point where the cosmetics at the stores are going to have more unique offerings and more offerings in general. But we are going to have that soon. And we kind of know why now. And it's something that I've been talking about for a hot minute. So let's get into that. Sorry, I just forgot. We already know how this is going to be coming out. It's going to be coming out every month for the last ship standing. So along with the other build rat stuff like the Weekender, they're going to be doing one of these each weekend. So the build rat Weekender and then the weekend for the last ship standing. So I don't know how they're going to be doing the cosmetics for this. It'll be interesting. They might just have it so that you unlock cosmetics, because we already know that we're getting the cosmetics for the event. But you're also going to be able to have cosmetics for your pirate along the lines of like the skeleton curse content and stuff to kind of represent the different factions. I'm kind of wondering if you have to play through a number of battles maybe, and then like place in a certain rank on each of those battles a certain number of times to be able to unlock some of the commendations associated with it. So we'll have to see how that kind of goes. I didn't do too much digging on this just to try and keep a little bit of it like kind of a, you know, like, oh, I'll see it when I see it, when it's done effectively. So we'll have to see how this goes in June when they actually start rolling out like the build rat weekenders as well as the last ship standing, because the next build rat weekenders isn't until June at this point. I've already talked about that, but let's get into the next topic, which was the actual update from the developers on the Insiders Forum. This is regarding the season pass and the season pass premium tier. Now, these are things that we know are going to be changing. They've shown a little bit of a teaser on how this is going to work on the last community direct that they did. I have been very, very adamant about, I don't like the fact that they're stripping cosmetics from this to put into these shops. This has been my concern since they announced this, when they said that they were going to be bringing more cosmetics to the shops and that they would be unique and not just recolors. I thought, well, where are they going to find the energy and the time to be able to do that? Turns out it's the same team that's working on the season pass. So they talked about the season pass on there, and shout out to Pixel Dead on the forum for laying this out for us. They've said that they're basically going to be reintroducing this as a new system. So the season pass and the season pass premium tier are the reimaginings of what are the Plunder pass right now. They are, I just realized I have to actually like turn off some of my stuff. It's all beeping in the background. So what are they doing? They are cutting out half of the required levels in the season pass. So what we have right now is 100 levels. That is now going to be changing down to 50 levels. And those are going to be broken up into smaller stages. Each stage is going to make up 5 levels. So you're going to have 10 different stages effectively to work through. Each stage is going to start out with small little bite-sized currencies and then work their way up to either voyages or cosmetics. But the way that they've explained this is that they've reduced the overall level numbers. They are building the stages so that they are going to be a little more rewarding when you complete an actual stage. And they've said that as far as regarding the Renown, the original Renown system, you could do multiple different things around the world to earn Renown. And it was a very passive activity, simply by sailing around, to more active things like completing voyages. And all of that contributed to what they've heard from the feedback is that they didn't understand how to progress their season pass, which I think is hogwash personally. I don't like, we had deeds we had like ways, we had a whole system, like a daily and a weekly system. We had monthly systems on what you could do to earn renown. And if you completed some of these weekly deeds and these daily deeds and these monthly deeds, you would earn bonus renown. So the idea that they're saying that the feedback that players didn't understand how to progress their season pass specifically was because they took out the way to progress the pass. They took that out. So of course people were confused. You took the thing that people relied on or didn't rely on. A lot of people didn't care. A lot of people would just notice that they were earning renown by doing stuff. They didn't necessarily need to know how. It was just about doing stuff. That was the tools, not rules perspective on the renown system. And I personally still held very true to that mentality of tools, not rules. It's one of the things I didn't like about the Build Rat Weekender was the list of stuff I had to do, which was very like out there, random stuff that I had to go do to be able to get the completed challenges done, to be able to get the cosmetics for that time limited thing. So they're falling more into that line. So they said that the whole experience felt passive, with progressing just happening rather than being something that you actively engage with outside of deeds, which it's amazing to me that they reference that people didn't understand how to progress the season pass and then directly reference the deed system that was that path of understanding. So very confusing on there. I feel like they're just making stuff up when they're writing this sometimes. For the most experienced players, these were routes to stack renown in unintended ways, meaning that the pass had a huge variation in time taken to complete, depending on your intricate knowledge of these soft exploits. They're not exploits if you design them to be in the game. I'm sorry, they're not exploits. If you tell us doing these things are going to earn renown, and then you build deeds around doing those, and people do multiple at the same time, that is not an exploit. That is just people playing the game the way they want to play the game. That is the tools, not rules of Sea of Thieves. That has been the mantra for this game. Do what you want to do. Don't do what we tell you to do. So I take umbrage with this whole paragraph. Personally, I think it was very silly. What I think they personally, I don't think that there was a problem with the renown system to begin with. This whole change is an emphasis on them looking to cut out things that are in the season pass that were being rewarded to people that didn't appreciate the effort to make them. They just earned them, and nobody ever used them unless they were actively looking for that specific set because they liked the way it looked, which is most of what happens in Sea of Thieves at the shops as it is. People ignore the cosmetics they don't like and they buy the ones that they like. So if they're just getting cosmetics through the season pass and the season pass is trading engagement with time for cosmetics, it's the same thing. The only difference is that there's currency being exchanged. People have to play the game to get currency. Currency then translates into cosmetics. What is the season pass? Season pass is time investment in the game and then getting the cosmetics. If they don't appreciate the cosmetics, it's because they didn't like the way they looked. I did like the fact that we had cosmetics in the Plunder Pass. That's not necessarily going away, by the way. That's just part of it. But going more into this, they say that we hope that by separating out your progress in this way, in the sense that they're going to be having you do more direct things as opposed to just passively playing the game, that you'll be able to pace your play sessions more effectively, and you'll be able to enjoy meaningful peaks of progress as you move through the pass. The tighter, more condensed format also enables us to be more effectively distribute. What does this say? The tighter, more condensed format also enables us to more effectively distribute our own resources, ensuring that we're better able to support seasonal rewards, the Emporium, and the Outpost stores more fairly each month. Which, I'm going to be perfectly honest, they're taking a lot of the cosmetics from the Plunder Pass and putting them in the outpost stores. This was my fear, that they weren't going to make more cosmetics. They were going to move where those cosmetics sat. So instead of earning them through the season pass and getting nothing in the stores to buy except for a recolor, that we are now going to be losing the recolors and moving the cosmetics from the Plunder Pass over to the outpost shops, which you'll now have to buy with gold, which fine. Again, I don't have a problem with how I obtain them unless it's a time limited thing. That's really not too much of an issue. Those being pulled out of the season pass means it's going to be more available for everyone. The biggest issue that I take with that is there's still no good way to organize the shops. There's still no good way to organize your inventory. So if you do like to buy everything, you are effectively harming your own ability to navigate your inventory and the store shops. So I'm glad that they're starting with the season pass system, because this is going to translate into microtransactions at the end of the day. But they have to go back to the foundation of how these cosmetics are tied to your player experience and go back and rehash that as well too. But jumping off the progression itself, we're going to move into how they expect us to earn renown. So they say that the original renown system had many different actions that would award renown, from quite passive activities such as simply sailing to more active actions like completing voyages. This contributed to the feedback. And I actually read all this, didn't I? Okay, so yeah, we talked about this. They said to create a more satisfying leveling up of your pass alongside a more consistent experience across the board, you can now only earn renown for more deliberate, meaningful actions like completing voyages, selling treasure, or catching fish. Those aren't everything. That's just an example. You can no longer earn it for fast repeating actions like killing individual phantoms at a sea fort or passive activities like simply sailing, which at this point, they're basically forcing you to engage with systems that are involved with voyages and world events, or for some reason catching fish. Catching fish is like it's almost as passive as sailing, but not quite. Like, you have to hold the wheel if you want to get where you're going. You still have to pay attention when you're fishing, even though you're still very passive. So irony there, in the comparison, in my opinion. So when you earn renown, you will also now see a small UI indicator that actually shows how much progress you've just earned towards the next level as a circle. Just like when you earn trading company reputation, this means you can directly understand how much an action has impacted on your season pass. I'm going to be real honest here. And you know me, I don't mince words. I'm not a partner. I'm not a QA'er. I'm not beholden to Rare liking me for what I have to say. I try to be very honest in my critiques about this. And I think that this system is designed to tell people to do the thing that they think they are actually fixing. They are saying that they don't want people getting renown for fast repeating actions like killing individual phantoms at a sea fort, and then immediately tell you that they're going to educate you on how much renown you earn for doing different things in the world, which immediately tells you this is going to be scienced. This is going to be mathed. It is going to be min-maxed. And eventually, if they keep the system without any changes to the way that renown is rewarded, people will work out exactly the fastest way to earn renown, and this whole cycle will repeat itself. But there's things on top of this. So what it comes down to is meaningful content that you can engage with to progress your season pass in a way that still feels like you're making progress, but not necessarily something that you're going to get done in the first of 3 months that you are playing the game. If you're actively playing the game, mind you. If you're only playing once a week or once, twice a week, it's going to take you a little bit longer, and you're probably going to have to focus more on getting the renown based stuff. But if you're going to tell people how much they're earning and then tell them that they can't do it based on repeated activities, you're literally educating us on what the fastest way to do it will be, because people will start writing down, did this, earned that, and they will take note until they find out where the biggest bang for their buck is. What takes the least amount of effort to get the most amount of renown? That is min-maxing. It's done in most games where there's progress, and I can tell you right now, Sea of Thieves is no different. It has been like this since people figured out the fastest way to get to Pirate Legend. It will not end because you changed the system. I'm telling you that right now. Your expectations of this killing the people, or the drive for people who are doing repeated actions, is not going to change their behavior. You cannot change their behavior. They're just going to alter the way that they do their behavior. Let's get into the rewards though. As mentioned above, seasonal rewards will now be split up into 10 stages. Each will grant a variety of different prizes at each level. These include currency in the form of doubloons, which has been increased to a total of 425 per season, cosmetics, and a choice of voyage rewards, building up to the final reward of each quote-unquote stage, a cosmetic choice. Some levels of Season Pass will present players with a choice of possible rewards, including cosmetics and voyages. This is to create a more focused value that is better fitted to each individual, and to give them more options in choosing rewards that will suit their personal cosmetic tastes and playstyle. I'm all for choice. I'm all for choice. The seasonal pass just felt like something you earned. There was no choice in what you got out of it. It was what Rare offered. It was based around themes. They're ditching the themes for seasons. They're ditching the acts. They're revamping the season pass so that it focuses more on cosmetics that are from the Emporium. Let's get into that. The main features of these selections are the cosmetic choices at the end of each stage. These choices give players the opportunity to select between 3 different items taken directly from the Pirate Emporium. The items available will be chosen from sets that are currently rotated out of stock, giving players a chance to pick them up and show them off while they are otherwise unavailable. Let's put a pin in that right now. I want to have a little discussion about the Pirate Emporium. I don't like this. I think this is a very bad idea. I think that this idea is driven purely out of desire to draw people into the Pirate Emporium to spend more money. I'm okay with that concept. I'm okay with them looking to give people an opportunity to get cosmetics from the Pirate Emporium store without having to spend money on those cosmetics. It's the reason why I like Ancient Skeletons. You can get ancient coin from Ancient Skeletons. You play the game, you sit around on islands doing stuff. Eventually you're going to come across Ancient Skeletons, and it's a nice way to kind of give you a little bit of that, a little bit of ancient coin to be able to get something out of the Emporium eventually. It's a very nice system. It's rewarding. You feel like you're being given something for the act of trading in time spent in the game, right? With this system, though, the problem I have with it is that you do not get to pick which 3 items appear out of those cosmetics that show up. It's 3 random cosmetics from the Emporium. The questions that are not answered so far, and maybe they will be. Maybe I haven't read far enough into this to be able to determine it. But the 3 questions I have right now, well, not 3 questions. The questions I have right now: what if I don't like any of the 3 items from the Emporium? What do I do? Do I just pick one because I'm out on it? I don't get to maybe re-roll in any fashion. That would be something that I would like to do. And I'm gonna say this is something that I see in other games, and I think it's a fair system. A lot of us have gold. If there are 3 items that show up in the Pirate Emporium, I don't like any of the 3. Let me use gold to re-roll what those 3 are. until I find one of those 3 items that I actually like. If it rolls and it says you get a flag, you get a hull, and you get a cannon, and I have all 3 of those items, I don't have any recourse. I don't have any recourse for how that gets taken care of. I don't know what happens. Do I get ancient coin as a currency because I've already purchased those items? Do I get that value back as me looking to try and use that on something else? That would be nice. But I'm telling you, the easiest way to do this is to allow people to burn the gold currency that they have and let them be able to use gold at a low enough cost, because not everyone's going to have a bunch of gold. If they want, they can choose an item. Even if they don't like it, they can still choose an item if they don't have the gold. If they have all 3 items, those doubloons, those ancient coins should be given as currency. Just like if you were to kill an ancient skeleton out in the middle of Crescent Isle. If I have all these things, that value should still come to me. I still earned that value. So if I have all 3, give me the ancient coin equivalent of the item that I choose from those 3, if I already have them. The other problem that I have with this is that right now, if you go into the Pirate Emporium store, there is bundles that you can buy for a ship set. And they're going to give you one item from a ship set or one item from a weapon set. But if you go into the Emporium and you look at said bundle and you see the item that you picked from that season pass reward, and you want to go buy the rest of the set because you like it and you figured might as well get the rest of it, you do not get the benefit of the value from the ancient coin that you got from the season pass deducted from that bundle. They do not deduct ancient coin from the bundle price if you already own part of it. That's something that should be really looked at, because all you're going to do is get items that you already have and still pay the full price for them, which means that you're either going to have to buy the other items individually, which may equal more than the bundle cost, or you're just going to have to spend the ancient coin on stuff you've already earned. And I think that that's a terrible consumer approach to doing a real money transaction store. If I already own something, why am I paying for it again? Why is that the thing? That is not consumer friendly. They have not cared at all about this. They have made no efforts to address it, and they probably won't, honestly, unless the feedback comes through, unless the people rise up and say, hey, I want to have discounted bundles based on the amount of items that I already own because you gave them to me. So I don't know. Those are some of the main questions that I have right now that are based off of this. What do I do if I don't like the cosmetics? Is there a way to re-roll them? What if I already own the cosmetics? And how come I don't get the value of those cosmetics deducted from the rest of the set when it does come back into the actual store? So let's talk about player opportunities. Players will also have an opportunity to select between different voyage rewards. This is a little bit easier to understand. Selections will be designed to cover a range of different needs within the sandbox. Early in the pass, they will serve to boost resources and supplies, aimed at setting you up for your bigger adventure. Later in the season progression, the voyage options will shift to more lucrative alternatives that will not only boost your reputation with the trade companies, but also offer big payouts if you succeed. The problem that I have with this, and I don't have a problem with the voyage system. The problem that I have with this is that they are treating this as if supplies carry over from session to session. If I get voyages early on in my seasonal pass, which is a 3-month long season, that give me rewards for supplies, that does not serve me 2.5 months later on. Those supplies are gone. They don't carry over. They don't translate. They don't stick around on your ship. You can't go and take your creative supplies and hand it off to the Merchant Alliance and say, hey, hang on to this. I'll be back. When I come back, everything better be in there. There's no system to save supplies right now. Although some people have been having their supplies carry over from session to session in their inventory, which is a whole nother thing, because that truly indicates that there's either a bug or a thing in the system that allows you to do that, and they aren't talking about that or providing that as a feature, which is a whole nother thing. But I don't care if supplies are given to me earlier in the season, because by the time I finish my season pass, it's not going to be the same session. So unless I can hold on to those voyages, which you can't because of the new system voyage, you can't just bank voyages the way that you did unless you have them like in your limited time voyages. But those are limited time. You don't get to hold on to those forever. They die within a thing. So unless you're literally giving me voyages that will sit in that section there for the remainder of the season, those supply voyages are pointless because they're not going to help me get supplies for the end of my season pass. What a weird concept that is. What a weird, fascinating mindset that they have, that people are going to be playing one session long enough to progress far enough in their season pass, which is the opposite of what they want. They want people to take longer to get the season pass done. And I'll get into why later, but they want people to spend more time on the seas engaging with the game so that they get their season pass done in a more meaningful period of time than just blowing through it in the first week. So I don't understand that mentality. The voyage thing, totally cool with it. Make voyages, let us get the voyages, give the voyages so that they give us supplies and, treasure. How about both? Why do you have to restrict the supply voyages to earlier in the season pass instead of later? Most of us can buy supplies now. It doesn't really impact us as much. Players will find that the rewards made available in prior seasons, such as clothing sets, unique items, and season collectibles, have now been replaced with these playable voyages, Emporium cosmetic options, and the unique star prize. The star prize is the thing that you get at the end of the 50 levels. It is right now we know it's the animated sword hand thing that they're working on. So while the season pass does offer fewer individual items than before, this time is now being spent by the team delivering new items regularly into the outpost gold stores and black markets, an area we frequently receive feedback has been underserved. This again goes back to my point. They're pulling cosmetics out of the season pass to serve the actual gold stores on the outposts. They're robbing Peter to pay Paul. That is what this is. I don't like it. I would have rather they just kept the cosmetics in the season pass, allow us to buy the Emporium stuff if we want to, and then give us another team to build more cosmetics. This game is nothing but cosmetics. It's about hats. Give us cosmetics in the gold stores on top of the season pass. And it's funny because it goes back to that. And I was talking to Caleb about this because the Helldivers community is dealing with something similar, but it reminds me of the Simpsons episode, that Halloween episode where Bart finds the monkey paw and he makes the wish and the monkey paw curls and the wish gets twisted. This is that equivalent. They're stripping out cosmetics and shortening the season pass so that they can take the cosmetics from the season pass and put them into the gold stores, which again goes back to the idea. I'm investing time in the game. I get currency. I buy cosmetics with currency through the store. That's fine. I'm getting cosmetics through the season pass. I'm spending time playing the game. I'm earning renown and I'm getting cosmetics through the season pass. The investment is time. They want us playing the game. That's fine. I understand that. That's what they want us to do. They also want us to buy stuff. So the buying stuff comes in from the actual like Emporium. They're trying to breadcrumb trail you from the season pass to the Emporium. It's a business move. It's not unheard of. But that's what they're doing. So the star prize, they said they basically talked about this. It's available to all players, whether they've bought the season pass premium tier or not, and will mark the completion of the player's journey through the season. What marks these stand out is it's a one of a kind flavor these bring. starting with the Greed's Reach Cutlass, a grizzly animated sword that visually represents the gilded arm of the Gold Hoarder. Great. Now we have something that represents the gilded arm of the Gold Hoarder. Wrathbone is once again being just ripped apart and serviced as trinkets to pirates, whether it's his eyes in the mask, or his head on the trident to open up a portal to the Sea of the Damned. Now it's the gilded arm as a sword. You're gonna have videos of people walking to the Gold Hoarder and smacking him with his own hand and screaming out, "Stop smacking! Stop hitting yourself! Stop hitting yourself!" So let's talk about the premium tier. What is the Season Pass premium tier? Season Pass premium tier is the new paid track that replaces the existing Plunder Pass and can be purchased for ancient coins. Totally fine with this. It unlocks access to a selection of enticing, valuable, and beneficial rewards. They're really trying to pump this up. That will help you on your journey through the Season Pass. The Season Pass premium tier will be available for 1,000 ancient coin, which will be able to be earned back as you progress through the pass. Totally fine with that. Totally fine with this. If you guys want to sell me a $10 pass to get cosmetics that I can earn back through the actual completion of it, totally fine with that. I think that's actually a consumer friendly approach to it. It shows engagement. It's up to people to invest the time to complete it. If they don't, that's on them. They had the opportunity to do that. Okay, so premium tier, high value currency. Players who have the premium tier will be able to earn 1,000 ancient coins as they progress, which is now exclusively available in the premium tier. Players with access will be able to earn these and choose whether to spend them in the Pirate Emporium or reinvest them into future premium tier access. The ancient coin that were formerly available in the free seasonal Renown track have been replaced with increased doubloons for players to spend at the Bilge Rat Black Market or on Duke's exclusive wares. Not a fan of that. I did like the fact that people who got the free pass were able to earn currency for the Emporium to be able to buy stuff if they wanted to save up. If you wanted to save up and you got through your season pass and you went and hunted down some ancient skeletons somehow, you would be able to finally buy that the pig that you wanted, right? And I'm kind of bummed about that. I'm okay with them giving me the ability to reinvest my ancient coin back into the premium tier of the next season. I think that is a very positive way. Not a lot of season passes do that anymore. Sometimes they give you just shy of what you need. If it's like a 1,000 coins, then they'll give you back 900 coins in the premium tier if you complete all of it. So then you have to fork over another $1 to be able to get the next one. Which granted discounted, but it's usually nicer when you can actually get the entire value back in there. $10 to complete the season pass and get the currency and stuff and then get that back. I like that. I'm okay with that. It would have been nice if they'd kept some of that ancient coin for the actual free tier, but it's a small price to pay in some cases. So what do you get out of the premium tier? The premium tier includes the ship cosmetics. A new full ship set, including the cannon flare, which is a waste of time, collector's figurehead, and collector sails, will also be available to earn through the premium tier. Surprise, surprise. This is no different than the Plunder Pass. You buy the Plunder Pass, you get a bunch of cosmetics. You always get a ship set. You always get the collector's figurehead and the collector sails out of that selection. That is one of the biggest reasons why people buy the Plunder Pass, is for that. A lot of people will hold off on buying the Plunder Pass until they complete it and then be able to actually get that. So as far as that concerns, that's still par for the course. Fine with that. Not a problem. I'm okay getting the ship set from the $10 version as opposed to spending $25 for it in the Emporium. That still remains a positive for me. Let's talk about how Rare is going to try and incentivize people to spend more money because they have changed the way to earn renown in this new season pass. The premium tier, Renown boosts. On top of what was already offered players who have opted into the premium tier will also be granted accelerated progress on season pass. This grants a multiplier. This grants a multiplier to the renown they earn on their journey, saving them time in the long run and allowing them to progress more quickly toward the prestigious star prize. The goal here is to allow players to choose a smoother path while still engaging with the core Sea of Thieves gameplay. You are actively saying that you want players to stop finding the best or the repetitive way of earning renown, so that you can then sell them the premium tier so that they get through the season pass faster or at a rate that is close to what it currently is. And that's not the only way they're going about this too. There's also the premium tier renown level skips. From listening to your feedback, we understand that every individual has their own unique schedule, and some may find it difficult to be able to commit to every season if they want to get their hands on the Plunder Pass rewards, the climb towards the star prize. With the onset of the new season pass, players will be able to purchase a limited number of level skips in exchange for ancient coin to help them complete their passes. While we are adding level skips for convenience, we still expect players to invest a meaningful amount of time engaging during the season. Because of this, skips are limited to a maximum of 10 per season. This aims to give everyone freedom of choice in how to invest their time and allow them to still feel rewarded by unlocking the rewards that feel right for them. Please keep an eye out on the insiders for updates related to the new season pass in the coming weeks. We look forward to hearing your thoughts and feedback and working with you to craft the best experience possible. In the meantime, please use this thread to share your thoughts on any covered within this post and ask questions that come to mind. I'm doing so on the podcast so that a lot of people have awareness of what's going on with this, so that they want to engage with this thread, they are able to do so. And please, this is of 12 days ago. So overall, with the seasonal pass renown system, what do I like? What do I dislike about it? I like that they are cutting out a lot of the filler. I'm totally fine with that. I'm okay with them offering renown level skips. Tools, not rules. Give us the ability. If people want to trade money for time, that's their business. Some people make more money than they do have time. Limiting it to 10 level skips effectively gives you what is that? It'd be 2 stages out of the 10, so 20% of the season pass that you could buy your way through. Having the renown boost incentivizes players to buy early, which then gives them a way to like earn it faster. This is something Call of Duty does. If you guys don't know, there's a black cell pass that you can buy for Call of Duty during the course of that game's lifespan. If you invest more in black cell, if you buy season 1 black cell, you get, I think, like 1% or 2% or something like. It's a very small percentage. If you go on to season 2 and you buy season 2's black cell, that experience gain increases. If you then go and buy the 3rd season's black cell pass, that experience gain goes and actually like multiplies again. You get more experience to earn faster throughout the year by your continued investment. That's not what's necessarily happening here. I expect that to be the way that most passes go, because a lot of people are willing to go about that. The reason Call of Duty does it is because that is a relatively annual biannual game. So they know there is a cutoff for their game, which means that they can offer a certain number of seasons and they can get away with giving you multipliers on experience gains by investing multiple times throughout the year for each different paid season. But that's only through like the black cell system. Do I like them offering a multiplayer for the renown? It's a mechanic. They're using this as a way to have people buy the renown, the premium tier early, so that it's on them Whether or not they get the value of that back, it's totally on the person that actually buys it. Instead of doing what most people do, which you can still do. Again, I like the choice here, is wait until you complete the Plunder pass or the seasonal Renown, and then buy the premium tier to unlock all of that content and then get your money back. Still something you can do. It's going to be dependent on how much time you invest in the game. Ship cosmetics being left in the premium tier, still totally fine with that. I think that's good. The concerns I have is that they are removing cosmetics from the free version of the Plunder pass to the shops, which is fine, but the thing they're replacing it with is not a good system unless they have ways to give players back value or options to be able to engage with the system that accounts for people who have a lot of. All in all, this isn't the end all be all for seasons or changes. I would love to see how they take the feedback from a lot of the stuff that people have mentioned, much of which I've actually covered in this episode, and whether or not they're actually going to tweak things, because at this point, we're less than we're about a month out from the last bit of the season. We're coming into the last act, which means that season 20 is just around the corner. And this because if you guys have been paying attention on social media, you may have heard that quite a few of the affiliate alliance ambassadors and Thieves partners were actually taken up to Rare to help with the testing and kind of getting feedback on the custom seas, which is going to be the headliner for season 20. I heard about this. I was glad that they are bringing them in. Nothing they're doing right now, I think, is going to be for the launch of season 20. When we're this close to the launch of it, I can't imagine that they're able to really do a whole lot in the next couple of sprints or the next couple of 2 weeks. They're mostly going to be looking for testing, for bugs, and kind of making sure that it's looking good to go for the actual launch, because they need it to look good. And they have said, at least some of the people that were there said that Rare is adamant about continuing development post-launch, which will, it's going to be interesting to kind of see how that actually takes place, because looking at what Sea of Thieves is doing right now, they are building events to have as reoccurring content for each month throughout each season. The season team is currently working on the same amount of content, so the workload is going to be the same as far as like the Plunder pass and stuff goes. And then the team that is currently working on seasons or custom seas, is that a separate team from the team that is making content for each season? I think it is. And if that team is going to be continuing on to custom seas after its launch, then I hope that what they do is they continue to broaden that tool set and allow things to be done that currently aren't available. They were mostly a lot of the community that were there to try and help with some of the stuff that they were looking to get as far as like play style types and stuff. So they said on the actual post, a selection of Sea of Thieves partners and affiliate alliance members have arrived at Rare to spend 2 days putting custom seas through their paces, coming up with game types and delivering feedback directly to the team. Hopefully it's not just back-to-back TDM. Now, like I said, there's not a whole lot. They can give them feedback, but a lot of that feedback is going to be something that probably comes post-launch, I would imagine. I'd be very surprised if a lot of the stuff that does come from those 2 days was them putting in stuff that they could actually quickly implement. I'd be curious to hear from them what they thought of it. I haven't really seen anyone speak too much to it, so I don't know if they're under NDA about that. I know that the partners themselves are already under NDA in some cases, but it remains to be seen if they're able to talk about this as they were playing unreleased content. I can't imagine that there's a whole lot that they can really speak on, but we'll have to kind of wait and see when it comes to that. The only thing that I can really touch on that I want to make sure you guys are aware of is that Twitch drops are back. Those are going to be kicking off on the 15th, the day after, that Friday after the launch of Last Ship Standing. And those are going to be going to the 20th. The things up for grabs are 6 hours worth of streaming. You're going to be able to get the 75,000 gold, the level of Renown, which I'm going to be real curious how that's going to change next season, and how they plan on doing that. The Voyage of Luck after 1 hour. They have the emote of Hear No Evil after 2 hours. You have the Mediocre Marauder title after 3 hours, which is very interesting that they're going with titles in this case. I think titles are one of the smallest type of cosmetic that you can genuinely offer in the game. So that as a Twitch drop, I think I would actually kind of weigh that in as like the first level of reward that I would give. Not necessarily the one after 3 hours. You have the Amethyst Mercenary belt after 4 hours, the Amethyst Mercenary gloves after 5 hours, and then one of the Emporium items, which is the Graveyard Gladiator Figurehead after 6 hours. I'm still glad that they are not doing stuff like the Resolute recolors or the Eastern Winds recolors. We are still working our way through the Amethyst Mercenary gloves. The recolors are honestly the easiest thing they can do, and they can space that out over a course of time. The fact that they're amethyst just kind of ties into the purple color of Twitch, so it makes sense there. But realistically, like if you have the Graveyard Gladiator Figurehead, you're probably not going to have to sit around for that last hour. But the Amethyst Mercenary belt and the Amethyst, I don't know why I'm trying to say thirst. The Amethyst. I don't even know what that is. It's the purple thirst. It's the Kool-Aid. It's the grape Kool-Aid gloves and the grape Kool-Aid belt that is going to be made available. It is late. I am ready to get out of here because I've been talking straight for quite some time. So I think I'm going to round out the episode now. Pirates, thank you for listening. Thank you so much for dedicating your time to supporting this content. I hope you guys are having a good, fantastic week. And again, as long as there's stuff to talk about, I will continue making these episodes. The last week genuinely was just one of those ones where there was nothing to talk about. And I thought about putting out like an episode that was just nothing. Like I didn't even genuinely really want to like get into wishes or dreams or anything, because we kind of know what the next like 6 months of rare is going to look like. And because of that, I didn't want to get on the hopium. I wasn't about to break open the tank of hopium and put the mask on and start trying to dream up scenarios where rare is going to surprise us with anything. Instead, I'd rather let you guys know about what's actually coming out, what's actually going to be happening, and make sure that you guys don't miss out on things like Twitch drops or the time limited content that is coming to the game that they have the rewards for. So that's going to do it. Pirates, thank you so much. Thank you. I love you, and I look forward to sailing with you on the Sea of Thieves.